Hello, and welcome to my review of Dexter New Blood. Now, before I get started, I want to make this very clear. This will be, as in the description and in the title says, a spoiler review. So if you have not seen Dexter New Blood and you want to formulate your own opinion, please stop the video here and go check it out for yourself. Now, I was going to make a video saying that, well, hopefully that it was going to be a show that was going to continue on with multiple seasons, because it was kind of unclear, even though it was being said it was a one season only thing, that there was maybe a chance this might have more than one season. However, sadly, it is only one season. And I'm not going to do a re-ranking right away or anytime soon, because this show sort of stands on its own. I'm going to just say this would be pretty high on my list. I don't know if this would be necessarily the top pick, but probably my number 2. Now, I want to address something, which I will dive into at the end. But as a storyteller, I think this puts me in a very unique position to understand certain aspects of this season that a lot of people did not understand. Like I said, I'll tell you more exactly why I'm saying that at the end. So Dexter New Blood tells the story of Dexter Morgan, who is living under the identity of Jim, and he's no longer involved with the police. He's a retired serial killer who was famously known as the Bay Harbor Butcher, but nobody knew he was the Bay Harbor Butcher. And this carries over from the original show Dexter. And one of my first nitpicks about this show is I was a little disappointed that we didn't have an intro. And if there were going to be an intro, I think it would have been fitting that the show would have had him coming home and left us clues as to where he worked, and we would have watched him maybe like cooking spaghetti and, maybe some kind of meat sauce he would have made. And then it would have ended the intro with him going to bed, which would have been almost a mirror of the original intro, which involves him getting up, getting his breakfast, and getting ready for his day. Now, Jim / Dexter is working at this gun shop, and this kid comes in and wants to buy this really powerful rifle. And something inside him just starts ringing alarm bells. And it turns out that this kid got away with killing 5 people because his rich daddy got him off. So, of course, this perfectly fits in with Dexter's whole vigilante serial killer bit. And one day, while Dexter's out running through the woods for exercise, this kid, who he's already begun fantasizing about killing in his normal way, shoots a deer very close to Dexter. And Dexter, just goes off on the kid and decides he's going to kill him. Well, he's got everything all pretty much set up to dispose the body. He just needs to figure out how. Suddenly, this kid shows up from out of nowhere, claiming to be Harrison, Dexter's long-lost son. I mean, it wasn't really lost. At the end of the show, he went off to be raised by Hannah, which I'm kind of sad we didn't even get any of Hannah in this. But Harrison shows up, and he finally reveals to Harrison that he is Dexter Morgan, his father. Now, a lot of people had issue with Harrison being the way he was, and at first I could kind of see the problems with that. But having seen the entire series or the entire season now, I understand it. So, the kid who got killed by Dexter, his father, turns out to be an actual serial killer. And Dexter hunts him down, and this serial killer starts getting close to Dexter's son, Harrison, and that becomes an issue. Because this guy knows Dexter killed his son. Now, I will say the ties that he knew it was Dexter is very minuscule. Like, very questionable on how he would know that. But even if, okay, he did figure it out, which he did, obviously. But here's the thing. There's no proof, really, other than these screws, which keep coming back into play. Oh, he knows Dexter did it because Dexter burned the body in this, city burning spot for, I guess, game and other wildlife, And the titanium screws didn't melt because fire doesn't melt titanium. But Dexter didn't keep any of that. Now, the guy Kurt, the serial killer Kurt, finally makes a move to try to kill Harrison. And in episode 9, Dexter and Harrison come clean, Dexter tells Harrison everything about, who he really is. And Harrison, at this point, is like, oh, you really understand me. Now, this is what is going to play into the final episode. He's like, you really do understand me. You know what I'm going through. Because Dexter points out how they both share a similar childhood. They both watched their mothers get butchered and killed by a serial killer. And Dexter tells Harrison all about the dark passenger and all that stuff. And he only tells him the stories that frames what Dexter does in a good light. To the point where Harrison is making several comments about, oh, so you're a hero. You're like a vigilante like Batman. Literally, that's what he says. So he has Harrison hooked, thinking that what Dexter does is a good thing. Even though it's still technically a crime, it's still illegal, Harrison's completely on board with, oh, so I can learn to channel my darkness into doing something good, the way my father did. So now we get into the last episode. They've killed Kurt together, and the police chief who is dating Dexter, she's closing in, realizing that her boyfriend is, in fact, probably the Bay Harbor Butcher. Now, a lot of people, and you know who you are if you're watching this, actually did not like the fact that this show started feeling out like, oh, it could go this way, it could go this way. She calls Batista And Batista says, oh, well, I'm going to come there. I'll give you everything I have. Let's nail this son of a bitch. Because, Muguerza always thought it was Dexter, and he didn't side with Muguerza back in the original show. She knew it wasn't Dokes. And then Dexter, he's like, hey, turn the camera off and I'll tell you the truth. And he doesn't come right out and say it, but he does push the cop, his girlfriend, to finding the bodies of Kurt's victims. People that she has all over her wall of missing girls for 25 years. And you start to think, okay, well, maybe she's going to cut Dexter loose and maybe the show's going to continue on. Okay, so I always saw that Dexter had only one ending. The only way to end Dexter was for him to die. You cannot send him to jail, not for any length of time. It doesn't even matter if a state has a death penalty, because in that time, putting him in prison or jail with other killers is like feeding him a banquet of people to kill. He would be killing other prisoners left and right until one of them killed him or until the state did it. They can't keep him locked up in solitary confinement indefinitely. So if the cop was possibly going to let him go, or things were going to go on longer, first off, I was like, well, there's no way that he's going to show up before the end. Because we got 20 minutes left of this episode. So basically, here's the problem everybody had with the ending, in which I actually think the ending is perfect. I think they did a great job with the ending. And to certain YouTubers who immediately disliked this, let me explain why. So, Dexter went out of his way in episode 9 to showcase his murders as a good thing to Harrison. To the point where Harrison wanted to do what Dexter did. Wanted that life. Wanted to be just like his father. And when Dexter tried to escape in episode 10, the last episode, unfortunately, it resulted in the death of an innocent, someone who does not fit Dexter's code. Dexter did not tell Harrison about the several people who died because they got in the way, even though they did not fit the code. And if everything had been drawn out, if everything had come out into the light, he probably would have brought down a lot of Miami homicide and trashed the names of several people that really didn't need to be trashed, like Deb, his sister, his father. I'm not saying he would necessarily turn and say, yeah, I didn't kill that person. Deb shot Muguerza because she was going to shoot me. Or, I didn't kill Dokes. That was some other chick. I just went and killed that other chick because she ran out of the country. She traveled to France, so I followed her there and killed her for killing Dokes. Plus, there was that person, I think, what was it, season 3? That one innocent guy who Dexter killed by mistake, and it was the wrong person? So many people have died because of Dexter's actions, or to keep Dexter, hidden. Harry, his father, was the one who got him started on it. And eventually that information might have came out. So Dexter was going to run. And in order for him to do that, he didn't try to kill this cop, but a cop got killed in the process of his escape. Although, to be fair, I was like, seriously, why didn't you just have him knock the dude unconscious? But then when I saw the ending, I understood why he had to die. Why it could not be he was unconscious. Because when Harrison confronted Dexter, saying, "You killed Logan," and Dexter's like, "Yeah, rule 1 of the code, don't get caught." He knew Logan was a good guy. He knew that Dexter's code was not all it was cracked up to be. That Dexter was not really much better than any of the other people out there committing serial murders. And it was that moment that he decided, I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be a serial killer. And if we were to get another show following Harrison, he would probably be a legitimate cop. I don't think he would be a serial killer. Yeah, true, he might have started out that way with the anger and the hatred and the darkness, similar to like how Dexter was, and Dexter was going to almost channel that into something like what he had. But I think now that Harrison had to kill his father, and it's not like he did it for the glory. The cop shows up, the girlfriend, she shows up right after, and she's like, "Go, get out of here. I never saw you." She's taking the credit. So he's not even getting the credit for killing his father. And he can't ever go back. And he was falling in love with this girl, but he had to go. He had to get out of there while he could. Because everybody was about to make a big deal about Dexter Morgan. And it was Logan's death that told Harrison, your father is a psychopath, a serial killer, just like anyone else. Yeah, maybe for the most part, he does kill bad people, but good people also get caught in the line of fire. And that's not the life that Harrison wanted. He didn't want that guilt and that responsibility that tore Dexter up. And I think he actually probably understood why Dexter left him behind. Why he left. I mean, he was reading the note that Dexter wrote to Hannah. And I think he understood what it meant now after killing his father. So that's why I really think the ending of this show was great. Now, I want to address the fact that people had a problem with Angela putting together that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. And I do want to start off by saying I have one minor nitpick that the podcasters episode on the Bay Harbor Butcher was very messed up because, I mean, the MO of the Bay Harbor Butcher was that the Bay Harbor Butcher killed bad people. People who were killers. And got away with it. So that should have been like the most G-rated episode of that girl's career. But more to the fact of why Angela put it together. Now, in the main show, when Dexter does get caught at any point in time, I mean, when he's almost on the verge of being on the chopping block, you do have characters that figure it out, but those characters either died once they figured it out, or were distracted by something. And Dexter had a very good hand in the jar to know where they were going. Like when they find his original dumping ground, you know, he knew before, oh, I gotta get rid of some of the evidence. But here's the thing, sometimes evidence doesn't always go away. Sometimes, especially in a digital age, something comes up years later. This is like, 10 years after season 8? Or 8 years, I think they say. 8 years after season 8. Now, Angela, okay, the ketamine thing, they weren't necessarily saying that, his M99 or whatever drug he used in the original show, I don't think they were saying that it was the whole point of it being ketamine. I think she just pieced together, what drugs, were found in the system of the people who have been in this town. Well, the drug dealer had ketamine in his system. And the drug maker had ketamine in his system when they found his body. Now, the main issue, the thing that really drives it home for Angela, is the fact, and I understood it when she said this, when she shows him those two pictures, the circular marks from the needle, the wheel marks, are in the exact same spot. If they showed every one of Dexter's victims, 9 out of 10 of those were probably going to be in the exact same spot. Dexter has a certain way he comes in and injects the needle. That right there is evidence. And when you got a Bay Harbor Butcher case from 8 years ago with photos that are matching up with cases that are happening yesterday, you're going to piece together. Oh, well, let's see. This has happened again. This dude's name is Dexter. He used to be someone who worked for Miami Metro Homicide. He suddenly disappeared. He worked alongside the guy who they thought was the Bay Harbor Butcher, Dokes. Maybe Dokes wasn't the Bay Harbor Butcher. Maybe it was Dexter, since this stuff is happening again. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And with time and stuff, Batista, who knows? Maybe Batista might have figured it out if he knew that it was still going on. But as far as they were concerned, they got the Bay Harbor Butcher when they found Dokes' dead body. So I can completely understand how Angela caught him. But that is my review of Dexter New Blood. I think it was really good. I put it as one of the top seasons. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. And if you're a special YouTuber, I really want to hear your thoughts. Because it was your review that kind of made me want to make this review of my own right away, this quickly. I was going to, rewatch and stuff, but I decided, no, I want to get this up. So thank you so much for watching. If you have not checked this out, please do check out Dexter New Blood. They should have all the episodes up on Showtime's app. Thank you for watching this review. Let me know what your thoughts on the season were. If there was something else that maybe you didn't understand, or you want me to explain from maybe a writer's point of view, then please feel free to leave a comment below. And with that said, I'll talk to you all next time.